Thank you for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. Coming up, find out how government is entrusting community members to resolve justice matters with their neighbors. Plus, see how one agency is assisting farmers to earn more. And later, you're never too old to learn. Meet two individuals who prove this old adage to be true. Stay tuned.
Artists, dancers, songwriters, protect your work from copycats and secure your intellectual property. The Intellectual Property Rights Law guards the rights of owners of creative works in the scientific, industrial, literary, artistic, musical, and dramatic fields. It covers several areas. Protect your net worth, protect your legacy, build Jamaica's creative and industrial industry. For more details on protecting your creative expression, contact the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, April 12. Government has reduced property tax rates across the board after sections of the population objected to recent increases.
This government cannot ignore these concerns, and we must therefore make adjustments.
During a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, the Finance Minister said the $1,000 flat rate would maintain on properties valued up to $400,000. Values above this figure will be subject to tax rates ranging from a low of 0.5% to a high of 0.9%, down from the 0.8 to 1.3% range announced a month ago.
Under the new regime, if a property is valued at $1.7 million, which is in the 0.6% tax band, the owner will still benefit from the flat $1,000 for the first $400,000, as also from the lower rates up to $1.5 million. So he or she would really only pay 0.6% on the values between $1.5 million and $1.7 million.
With the new rates, the average increase in taxes have been reduced for both residential and commercial properties. Among several measures to provide relief as needed, the Finance Minister indicated that owners of properties that are part of a business, such as a hotel or farm, can seek to write off the property taxes against their income taxes. Special relief of up to 50% of the taxes is also available for agricultural properties, while landowners experiencing financial or other kinds of hardship can apply for special discretionary relief. And for those property owners who contend that their lands are valued too high under the newly applied 2013 valuation roll, Minister Shaw says they can submit an objection to the Commissioner of Land Valuations. In addition, government has waived all penalties on current property tax liabilities in financial year 2017-2018.
For those who have already paid their property taxes on the previously announced rates, any overpayment will be refunded or can be credited towards tax liabilities in 2018-19.
The revenue yield from the new lower property tax rates, which take effect retroactive to April 1, 2017, is $2.1 billion less than previously projected. To legally facilitate the changed rates, Parliament debated and passed the Property Tax Amendment No. 2 Act 2017 during yesterday's sitting. Another bill and 2 land valuation orders were also passed to indemnify the government against liability arising from the collection of increased property tax rates on the old 2002 valuations since the year 2013. Government's ratification of the Paris Agreement on Climate Change is being welcomed and praised by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, in Jamaica. Countries adopted the Paris Agreement in December 2015, and it was entered into force less than a year later. It provides a global roadmap for actions that will reduce emissions and build climate resilience. Minister with responsibility for the environment portfolio, Daryl Vaz, announced Jamaica's ratification during yesterday's start of a 3-day climate change symposium in Kingston.
All our partners and stakeholders who will be further engaged and embraced to ensure that we fulfill our obligations under the Paris Agreement. We are now in implementation mode.
The UNDP's acting resident representative to Jamaica, Elsie Lawrence Chanoun, commended the country for taking a leap of faith.
For our part, UNDP Jamaica will continue to mobilize technical and financial resources as part of our broader commitment to building climate and disaster resilience.
Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith signed the ratification document on March 30, 2017. Jamaica is much closer to tapping into a $2.7 million grant from the Japanese government as part of the project to promote energy efficiency in Caribbean countries. The grant will be provided through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, to benefit Jamaica, Barbados, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. Finance Minister Audley Shaw signed the record of discussions at his ministry this morning with JICA's resident representative, Kenji Tobita.
The record of discussions signals the synergy and collaboration between the governments of Jamaica and Japan in this vital area of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Also, it bolsters the existing efforts of the government of Jamaica aimed at reducing overall fossil fuel consumption.
And finally, ground has been broken for a diagnostic center and infant school at the Sam Sharp Teachers College. This should improve the provision of services to the western end of the island, which currently exist only at MICO in Kingston. These include early diagnosis of learning disabilities.
This is one of the driving forces behind the ministry's push to increase access to infant schools.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is funding the construction to the tune of $62 million with support from Food for the Poor and PACE Canada. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Every time there's a strong breeze, we are full up a leaf. End of my nightmare.
She can't chop down the guava tree and get away with it. It's a bearing fruit tree. It's alright. Me and I will have it out in here today.
Lord Jesus.
Move.
No, stop. John, want here, man. John, look here. At least hear what she have to say first, no? Hear what she have to say. No, but don't bother the war situation, man. Listen, we can go down to the Restorative Justice Center, you know, man, and sort this thing out. You don't want to set up yourself for jail. Come on, let's sort out this thing. Once and for all.
Restore the peace, restore the love, restore the niceness, restorative justice. Respect each other.
A program of the Ministry of Justice funded through CSJP.
The Ministry of Justice is ensuring that every Jamaican has access to justice. They have been training individuals to assist persons in their communities with certain justice matters. Take a look.
This is community justice. Residents who are standing up for peace and just actions, reclaiming Jamaica land we love.
The decent, law-abiding citizens of our country must now be more proactive and seek ways and means to overcome those who want to destroy Jamaica. Goodness must triumph over evil.
It's not a one-citizen thing, and it's not just a town thing. The Ministry of Justice is rallying the masses from country to town,
Creating a national movement of decent and upright people to take back Jamaica and to return discipline and respect for the rule of law in this country.
Using a series of public sensitization sessions, the ministry is seeking to bring together peace monitors or justice leaders. Pastors, doctors, custodians, lawyers, teachers, and other positive community members are being trained in justice programs such as child abuse, domestic violence, human trafficking, mediation, restorative justice, and legal aid. Professionals within the justice system are on hand at the sessions, equipped to answer questions.
Victims who have been sexually abused, and I speak to the evidence. A young miss, she is impregnated by an adult, and the man leaves the area. This is in relation to soca. The man leaves the area when it's hot, and a year after, he's back in the area. What's the follow-up?
As it relates to teenage pregnancy or persons who got pregnant below the age of 16, we don't just investigate and leave things hanging. We follow up. So if the person left the community, we're still after him. We try to find out where he is. If he comes back to the community, we go, we get him, we put him before the court.
Armed now with the knowledge of truth and justice, the community members will now help other citizens access justice services, resolve conflicts, and be productive members of society.
We're sending a signal to the Jamaican people, and in particular, all law-abiding and decent citizens of this country, to join us in the work that we are doing to safeguard the future of our country as we move towards a just, safe, and secure Jamaica.
I think the sensitization sessions, it's a great initiative of the Ministry of Justice. I think it teaches us now as citizens to have a greater responsibility, and it has opened our awareness. There are several activities that you can access through several services through the Justice Ministry. So it's not only limited to human trafficking. We have learned today of victim services. We have learned about legal aid services in addition to restorative justice. And key as well is that we have to access those who do not have access. So we now have to go into those remote locations. So it's not only to those internet users or social media, in other words, but it is just a great responsibility. I love the initiative, and it just makes you feel good to be a part of this great effort.
The project is being carried out through the Justice Undertakings for Social Transformation program. Already more than 200 persons have been trained. By year end, over 2,000 persons will be on the program. Peace, civility, good order, and improved behavior in communities will be the fruits of this program.
This helps the problem from reaching to the court, where it takes a lot of time and a lot of pile-up that is being done today.
I think it's very good. It's commendable on the part of the ministry to have done this. Based organizations would be the best avenue to reach the population and to have people committing in their own space, in their own community, persons who are familiar with the situation and the culture and are willing to serve.
Justice, truth be ours forever cannot be achieved without community members.
Nobody want to plant the can. Everybody want to read the band. Who you are go blame it on when it's a next man you are deep in pan. Well, you're wrong.
Farmers, let us be serious about predial larceny. It is affecting all of us. If you are aware of incidents of predial larceny, make contact with your local police station or call Crime Stop at 311. Predial larceny is everybody's business.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is using technology to help farmers increase their output. Find out more in our next feature.
Agriculture has always been the backbone of Jamaica's economy, providing food and raw material for consumption and export, as well as numerous employment and entrepreneurial opportunities. And the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, has played an integral role in the sector, creating a sustainable environment through the use of technology and contemporary farming practices.
RADA is the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, and it was established to stimulate and promote rural development among farmers and farm families in Jamaica.
Since 1990, RADA has provided over 230,000 farmers with the technical know-how through numerous programs aimed at making them more capable of managing their farms and knowledgeable about how to improve the quality of their output.
We have in RADA several programs. We have internationally funded programs. We have the GeoG Adaptation Fund, which is a climate smart program. We have the agro-parks, which are, as you know, agro-park spans different parishes. And of course, we in RADA provide the technical services necessary to bring those parks into, productivity and production. The Irish Potato Program was a program that started some years ago, probably 5 years ago. And one of its main objectives is to promote sustainable production of Irish potato. And it is one of those crops that we term import substitution crops. We are about 90% self-sufficient.
I have benefited from the Irish Potato Program. Yes, and I have also gotten training along with seedlings, fertilizer and stuff like that.
Without RADA, it would be very, very difficult because they form that bridge where you can call to find markets, different ministries, various things that we need.
And RADA has also been incorporating more women and youth in its programs to encourage new entrants in agricultural business ventures.
I was on the GeoG Adaptation Fund program where I did Irish potato. Under that program, women and youth. Irish potato has now become my favorite crop. We learn how to apply the fertilizer, how to apply the spray. When the crop is ready, we will learn post-harvest, pre-harvest, and diseases, all of that under the program.
In addition to hosting programs that provide farmers with the exposure and skills needed to transform their farming experience, RADA has introduced appropriate information and communication technologies, ICT, for greater innovations and effectiveness in the industry through the ABIS database.
The acronym ABIS is Agriculture Business Information System. The primary objective is to provide demographic information as well as information on crops as well as livestock. So we do a lot of tracking of agricultural produce. We are working with the Met Service right now to link that information with Met Service so that real-time weather information within particular geographic location can be uploaded to the system, and then we get the feedback and we can assist farmers to make informed decisions as to when to plant and the type of crops they can plant based on weather conditions.
RADA has also been providing continuous certification and training to its extension staff.
Our main mandate is to provide technical advice to farmers. Right, the agency has gone further to provide us with trainings in pest and disease identification and management. They have provided us with training in marketing, proper use and management of equipment, use of personal protective equipment and such. And we pass that information on to the farmers on a daily basis.
The agency continues to find methods to further modernize the sector.
Our new board members here have decided we have three main focal points that we'd like to concentrate on. The first one is to increase the capacity to our technical team to send messages and information to our farmers in a more modern way. The second point is that we're going to try and encourage our farmers to produce more locally grown crops and things like onions and ginger that we import a lot. The third one is the value-added part of it. For example, when you have cabbage and carrots, you sell them to the supermarket or to the hotels, but you also have like a grade B type of product. And what do you do with it? You can shred it and put it in pre-packaged packets to sell to the supermarket. So that value-added product will mean that we'll have absolutely no produce at all going to waste.
I think RADA has done a good job. RADA has to assume a role of providing technical advice and the transfer of technology so that we can become productive and hence more competitive, so that the products that we produce can meet the standards required for export, not only to satisfy the Jamaican output, but for exports.
If agriculture doesn't grow, the economy can't grow. And so RADA is a critical element in agriculture and a critical element for growth in this economy.
I am so grateful for the extension officers. Like, we can call upon them at any time.
I thank them immensely, especially the field officers, because they come out almost every week to check on us,
very worthwhile seeing the farmers utilize the information that they have been given and use it in order to better themselves.
For more information about RADA, call 977-1158 to 60 or email executive@rada.gov.jm.
It is never too late to take a new path in life. For many Jamaicans with literacy problems, a great place to start reading is at the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning. The foundation is now a division of the Heart Trust NTA, but the work still continues.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world, said Nelson Mandela. This quote rings true for many Jamaicans who have been given a new lease on life through the work of the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning, JFLL. Formerly known as JAMAL, JFLL was established in 1974 for one major purpose:
the opportunity of providing a second chance to adult learners to be able to, one, be just to read your Bible. Come to us. If it is that you want to have a better job, if you want to transition to post-secondary education, we are the place for that.
Fortunately, that objective is being realized in the lives of many adults, with Jamaica's adult literacy rate in 2016 being 87%. At the institution's inaugural Power Breakfast in September 2016, Jamaicans were exposed to the stories of two adults who have realized their full potential through the work of the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning. Meet 59-year-old Raphael Young.
I am thankful for this program, JFLL. It has changed my life and developed my reading skill so that I can read. When I heard of the program were coming to my community, I was very glad and I welcome the program. I made an assessment. When I joined the class, I was in grade 1 with a workbook named A Day with the Sharp, a first reader for adult published by Jamal Foundation. When I did my numeracy test, I end level 1 and in level 2 and take the test again and end level 2 and in level 3 and further on. The class allow me now to able to read the star so that I can read the good and bad news.
Raphael, a proud graduate of the program. It's good news also for the stakeholders at a time when the institution is entering more adult learners in the CSEC external examinations.
People told us that we could not take learners who couldn't read and write and get them up to CSEC level and let them pass CSEC subjects in 2 years. They were absolutely wrong. This year, we had about 167 learners across our network, who most came to us reading as our grade 2 child would have read. And we worked with them. And 47 of those learners decided to sit 5 subjects straight. And right now, we're getting in the results. We have so far 15 of the 47 who have completed and passed 5 subjects.
Among the bright students, 47-year-old grandmother Veronica Robinson Malcolm.
My educational ambition got disrupted when I got pregnant at a tender age of 15 years old. I dropped out of regular school at grade 10. In spite of that setback, I was determined to further my education. I heard about the JFLL program by way of a JS program. I took up the pleasure of applying there, which I was enrolled, and now I have 5 CXC subjects, 6 JSE subjects. Thanks. My children have all grown. I am now a proud grandmother of 4. The experience of JFLL was phenomenal. The interaction as a student, president of the student council, the teachers, the administrative body, and the clerical staff. Honestly, I can't tell you how good it was. I am a true example of this old saying, you are never too old to learn.
Never too old to learn, a sentiment advocated by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information.
That is a message that we want to get out there. Because we want every adult to not only be fully literate, but to be trained and certified at the highest level. It helps very often with the education system in terms of the generation. The more parents are educated, the more their children also are educated. It works. All adults I'd love in Jamaica to make lifelong learning a culture.
As JFLL continues to modernize, the way ahead is clear.
We will be intensifying our effort to identify and secure strategic partnerships to support JFLL's mandates. Target areas with high pockets that are in need of remedial support to guide program expansion, to interface with the Ministry of Education and other ministries, departments and agencies, international development partners, and the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning to further our reach into these areas.
So, if you're an adult looking for a second chance at learning, forget the naysayers, embrace the change.
A lot of people try to disencourage me, say I'm too old to go to the school. There are many voices, including the voice of your family member and friend, with some negative word that will lead you astray. But don't listen to those voices. Don't give up just because of what someone said. Use that as a motivation to push harder.
For further information on the programs offered by the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning, visit their website at jfll.gov.jm or call 928-5181.
Money, that thing that most of us don't seem to ever have enough of. Many feel as if they're not earning enough or that the cost of living is just too high. No matter what your salary is though, you should always try to put a little aside. You know, just in case things get a little rough. Yeah, I hear the cries, how can I put away money when I barely have enough to get by? Well, if you think about it, we all know some ways in which we could pinch a little here and there. How about this? Cook at home and bring lunch to work, and that will cut down on your food bill. Also, don't be afraid to pack those nutritious homemade meals for the children to take to school. Speaking of food, if you have a little yard space, perhaps you could grow some vegetables. Apart from spending less on food, if you grow a little extra, you could sell some to your neighbors and get some extra cash. Another way to save some money is to learn to do things for yourself. Think about how much you could save if you cut your own yard, do your hair yourself, or do minor repairs to your vehicle. Also, cut back on those utilities. See what services you can do without. Maybe you don't need internet and cable. You could make an effort to lower your energy usage by turning off lights when they're not being used and ironing your clothes once a week. Making these little changes in your life can mean big changes to your bank account. Today's show has come to an end, but information from JIS is always at your fingertips. Visit our website at jis.gov.jm, follow us on Twitter at JIS News, or like our Facebook page. Got feedback or comments on today's show? Send us an email at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. I'm Theodore. You take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.